What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. We recently hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel, and I want to say thank you so much for all of your support in that way. And what I thought we would do for celebrating it was to see what the best method was to hit 100 kilometers in Pokemon Go. 100,000 subscribers, 100 kilometers, I don't know, it seemed fitting. We're gonna be talking about all of the past methods that we have done in the past and then getting us up to this point in time. The idea behind this is to make a very fun, memorable video, so I do hope you enjoy it, and if you do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. We really need to do a quick recap of everything that we have already covered, and then of course talk about some new options that have been discovered just to see how they end up stacking up. This is all going to be used through the Adventure Sync feature, so you just need to download a fitness app on your phone, sign in with the email that you use for Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, go ahead and enable Adventure Sync, and then simply close out the game and stack up some distance for yourself. But a couple of the methods that we end up trying out, we got a little bit on the normal side and then progressively got crazier over time. We went out and just simply walked, then we jogged, then we rode a bike, then we got home and just shook our phone back and forth. That seemed to be the more popular method that kind of spread around the community. Definitely an easy one to do, but we didn't stop there. We said, what if you shake your phone while you were riding a bike? That actually didn't do very well, believe it or not. And then that ended up leading to the birth of the method that kind of reigned supreme, the sock method. So the sock method was able to pull in about 1.6 kilometers per every 7 minutes. Another way to disclose that is every hour, basically, you could get 14 kilometers just by doing this. That was insane. So the bar was set high. It was going to be very tough to take down the sock method, but trust me, I tried. For example, I used a phone cradle that rocks the phone back and forth, and that was definitely a really cool thing, and it wasn't very expensive in the first place, but unfortunately, it just wasn't working on my phone. I do have people who swear up and down that it works for their phone just fine. They don't have any problems with it. Maybe their sensor is a little bit more sensitive than mine. Got some suggestions. Hey, why don't you turn the phone sideways or something like that instead? You may end up picking it up. But regardless of that, we weren't able to actually get a good performance out of the cradle. And moving on from that, a couple of days ago, I started looking into some really interesting methods. One guy posted this where he modified a drill to be able to move the phone like that. Yeah, that is really cool, not gonna lie, but if you think about it, it's fun for people who can do that type of thing, but it isn't necessarily practical for you, for me, for people who just don't want to, or want to build things like that, for example. So I decided to keep looking. I didn't want to give up. I ended up running into a really interesting method where somebody ended up putting a phone in a Pringles can, put it on the treadmill, and then put a net behind it. That way it would catch the Pringles can, and then they simply just let it run. That does sound like a good idea, but these methods have one thing in common. They are low effort, but they are not necessarily the most effective. As far as the distance is concerned for the treadmill, he ended up going 30 minutes and clocked in about 3 kilometers. And with this method, we're talking about clocking in 14 per hour. So I set on a journey of getting 50 kilometers, just seeing how long it would actually take me to do it. And then of course, just for the hell of it, hey, let's go ahead and go for 100 kilometers. So as far as the results are concerned, I was able to do 50 kilometers in 4 hours of shaking your phone. So the added benefit to the sock method is you can go out in public with confidence knowing that it is the best method. Go ahead and shake it in front of a couple of people. They're gonna know what the sock method is, and they're gonna know that you are a person of confidence. Regardless of that, you can also do your daily task without it being that invasive. Sure, you have to get a little creative sometimes as far as your hand placements, how you can maneuver around, but once you get used to it, you'll realize that carrying around a sock in public is definitely the cool thing to do. And if you're going around just doing daily tasks like brushing your teeth, waking up, watching a movie, maybe even eating some food, you're gonna know that this sock is gonna be right beside you, and it is definitely the best method that you can end up doing. And it's not weird at all. So anyways, all jokes aside, I thought it would be a lot of fun to try to go for 100 kilometers doing this method. I mentioned that it took me about 4 hours to do 50 kilometers. I had a little bit of some hiccups every once in a while with it, so it ended up taking me like 9 hours of shaking to be able to get it up to 100 kilometers, as well as playing a little bit sprinkled in as well. So of course I'm not going to recommend anybody to go 100 kilometers by doing the method, but 50 kilometers, let's say for example you get out and play, but you're at 15, 20, something like that, to be able to put in the time to do that extra 30 kilometers, it really doesn't take that long to do it. And in all honesty, and really good tips for myself, watching a movie for example, I'll just sit there and really do this just to pick up that extra distance, because the rewards are just so great if you can get yourself up to 50 kilometers. So I'm just saying it's not like a main source of distance that I would recommend doing, but it's definitely a good supplementary. Maybe you are a couple of kilometers short, for example. It's going to be a good thing to go ahead and just shake your phone and just finish it out, especially if you are that close and it's just not practical to get out there and do it. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode. Hopefully you were entertained by it. I spent a lot of time shaking this freaking phone, so hopefully the video ends up turning out well. I want to know what you think about it in the comment section below. What is your favorite method to do? What is the most entertaining one that you ended up seeing today? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. This is where we give a huge shout out to the patrons on Patreon. As many of you may not know, as far as YouTube content creators are concerned with smaller channels, you don't make that much money, although there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. So support on Patreon is very important to smaller creators, and I want to say thank you so much for everyone who has chosen to be a part of it.